Hi, this is Kirk McDowell, business coach, sales coach, Dragon Slayer. I want to talk to you today about selling, specifically a model for selling, or a paradigm for selling, or a world of selling, um, or a point of view about selling, or a way to hold selling in your imagination or in your mind. And one way you could look at selling is as an opportunity to contribute something, right? People have issues, problems, things they would like to take care of, things they would like to accomplish, commitments, and so forth. And entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and freelancers often find themselves selling something, their service, their business, whatever it is that they're excited about, right? And then there's this thing called the selling process. Most people get in business not to become professional salespeople, but because they're passionate about whatever their business is. Architects love to draw houses, and doctors like to take care of people, and so forth and so on. And but oftentimes those same professionals are not interested in selling. It's not a comfortable fit for them. It's not a forte. It's something that maybe produces anxiety or dis-ease in their life and in their business, right? So I think I have a solution for that, which is this model or modality for selling, right? So let's talk about this a little bit. So I personally have been in sales for over 30 years, lots of different industries: capital equipment, medical supplies, consulting, recruiting and headhunting, coaching, just a variety of things, and wedding services. And what I've noticed is that when I show up to an engagement or a conversation with a potential customer, and who I am is authentically constituted to be of service. So, like, if all I'm thinking about and all I'm interested in and all I'm committed to is figuring out how to be of the most service to that other individual, right? And if that's really what drives my conversations and my thoughts and my actions, I notice a couple of different things. So, like, if I really have my attention on contribution, it really works. So, for one thing, it works for the customer, because now they're interacting with someone who's really there for them, is really committed to them, right? So that's good. If you're in business, you want to surround yourself with people who are committed to your success. And so there's that. It's good. It works for the salesperson. It works for the business owner, because if I'm authentically there being of service, right? I'm just there being of service, right? I'm there to inquire into what the issue is, and just to look with them and see if what I have would be awesome for them and really make a difference, or if there's something else. And you just help somebody with that process, right? And so I just notice it really works, and then people really notice, because it's unusual, those times when you're interacting with someone who's really there for you. So they really notice it, which, by the way, kind of folds into, all of a sudden, that gives you a competitive advantage, right? Because you're actually the one who's interested in them, and it's authentic and it's real, and we'll get to that in a minute, get to say more about that in a minute, right? But once you're really there on their side, like for real, then they've got an ally, and that's really great for the customer. So that's the background, and it's very simple, but in the heat of the moment, when your bills are due or your reputation's on the line or something like that, it can be easy to slip into a manipulative tactic or strategy, or maneuver in the conversation, right? So what I'm suggesting is, you absolutely have to manage that and keep your agenda clear. It's not to say you're not gonna have thoughts, right? But what's important is that you be true to your commitment to be there of service and there to contribute, right? So I've created 7 steps, and these are training wheels as you move into this. It's all sort of very natural and organic, but for the purposes of training and getting started, I came up with a formula that really makes it easy to kind of conceptualize and put into practice what I'm talking about. So step 1 is to understand how it looks and feels from their point of view, right? So you just really want to be interested in, thinking about, aware of, present to, inquiring about, like, how is the whole process for them? Your appearance, how you're speaking, your energy level, the environment, the people, you just really want to be connected to exactly how the whole experience is occurring for them. And you want to start listening from a particular place, which is listening for some specific things. So one thing I listen for is, what is the experience of another person? Like, what is their experience right now? Are they desperate? Are they excited? Are they sad? Are they angry? Are they frustrated? Are they thwarted? Are they depressed? Are they resigned? What is their experience, right? And then another thing you could listen for is, what are they committed to? Like, what are they concerned with? What are they trying to accomplish? What is it exactly they're trying to get heard? And really listen deeply for that. And then another interesting way to listen is to actually listen for every word that gets said. You may think you're doing that, and unless you're a very rare or highly trained individual, I sincerely doubt it. So, we tend to predict what people are going to say as it's coming in, and while it's probably is useful in some ways, it's not useful in picking up the nuances of what people are saying. So if you listen really specifically for what are people's experience, like what are they committed to, and really, 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 what are they saying, and you're listening for what resource or information or possibility could you bring to bear on what it is they're concerned for and what's important to them and what their experience is, that would make a difference for them, right? So that's an interesting way to listen. Typically, human beings don't listen that way. They listen from a more self-interested place, or salespeople don't listen that way because, their sales managers breathe them down their neck, or the bill collectors breathe them down their neck, or payrolls breathe them down their neck, and they need to get this deal done today, right? Which is not necessarily a match for just the natural flow of how business could be done, or a decision gets made, or someone gets their questions answered and concerns handled in such a way that they're ready to move forward, right? So the organic timeline might not be lined up with your own personal agenda. And what I'm suggesting in those cases, you literally give up your personal agenda and are always working from, the agenda of what is the highest service I can be for this individual, this company at this time, and how can I communicate that? And you're dealing with how to communicate how you feel you could be of service, right? So step 2 is warm up. Now, I don't mean warm up in the traditional sense, like a slogan or a quick handshake or something. I mean a warm up like, give people a chance to get used to your presence on the phone, in person, whatever. Give people a minute to conclude what we're doing, and transition into what we're getting ready to do, or let them get something attended to personally, a text, or taking care of themselves in some way, so there's this, as an engagement begins, as a conversation or a meeting begins, there's a sort of a transition from what we were doing to what we're now doing, right? So you just want to give people space, let them move into the space, and move into the conversation at their own pace. You want to notice that people operate at a different tempo. I tend to talk fast. Believe it or not, I'm trying to tone it down right now. Some people talk very slowly, very methodically. Some people are kind of in the middle tempo-wise, but the language is very, so people have their different styles of speaking, different tempos, different ways of crafting things in language, right? Your artistic types, that's kind of more me. Your analytical types, and everything in between. So your job as a professional is to actually keep altering your signal until it matches their frequency. So everybody operates at a slightly different frequency. Everybody's got their own little groove, as it were, right? So your job as a professional is not to make them bend over to how you're thinking about things and speaking about things in the tempo at which you operate. Your job is to really listen for, how do they like to communicate? Are they slow and thoughtful? Are they quick and creative? Just whatever their thing is, and you want to match that authentically and to the best of your ability, just because when people are communicating with someone who communicates at the same or similar frequency, it's easier for them to receive your communications, and that really makes a difference in your ability to communicate with people and be heard, right? Because that person is now speaking to someone who is like them, right, in their reality. And again, it's not a tactic for manipulation. It is a tactic, but it's a tactic to connect with someone and figure out how you can be of service to someone, So the next step is discovery. This is really my favorite. This is like the diagnostic part. So it's important that you've done the warm-up, because it's the warm-up where you're really connecting and listening and giving them the experience of being heard and appreciated and respected and like being served, right? So that's what you're accomplishing in the warm-up. So in this next step, discovery, this is where you go to work as a diagnostician. Like a professional salesperson is a master of diagnosis. You're diagnosing what's going on, what's not working, where's the stop between where someone wants to be, where someone is, and where they want to be. What's the blind spot? What's the gap, right? So as a professional, you're diagnosing what's going on within your field of expertise, like whatever it is you're selling, and you're making sure you clearly understand what's going on. Like, imagine going to a doctor's office, and as you begin to tell the doctor what's not working for you, he or she immediately has a prescription for you or a treatment plan set out, but they haven't even heard what's going on yet. Like, what would you conclude about your doctor, or how would that make you feel, right? Well, as professional salespeople, we do that all the time, because what we're thinking from is, what do I have to sell? But no one cares what you have to sell, no matter how brilliantly you can present it, right? What people care about is what they are dealing with, right? So your job as a diagnostician, as a professional salesperson, a master of diagnosis, is to have a conversation in which you're actually uncovering the critical elements of the situation, such that you can diagnose the correct treatment plan, bring a suggestion to light, illuminate something, assist them, be of service to them in some way. So information confirmation. So, here's where you really get to demonstrate how different you are than everybody else. You get to demonstrate your commitment and ability as a master professional, which is simply to demonstrate that you heard what they said. Man, I've talked to so many salespeople that just don't listen. I guess they're getting it all done on charm and pizzazz, but that just doesn't have any staying power. Professionals want to engage with other professionals who clearly understand what they're dealing with, and they're paying attention to the nuances and the movements of the situations and circumstances and stuff. Like, if you're getting service from another professional, you really want them clued into what you're dealing with. I mean, that's just common sense. It doesn't seem like I'd be having this conversation, but oh my gosh, so many salespeople don't listen. Just oh my gosh. So when you actually are thoughtfully recreating the conversation, what got said and what's important to them, and look, it's fine that you're getting corrections. You're not trying to put on a show. You're trying to understand what's going on with them so that you can be of service, right? So, no, that's not what I said. This is what I said. Oh, great. Okay, so, you're just really recreating the whole situation, what they're committed to and what they're dealing with and what they think the problem is. And, at some point, they really get that you're interested and committed to what they're interested and committed to, and you're there to be of service, right? So at that point, you can demonstrate one more time your professionalism by asking something to the effect of, hey, I really am, I think I have a solution to what we're talking about. I've got an idea. May I share it with you? I think I may have an awesome solution to what you're dealing with. Can we talk about it for a minute, right? And so you're asking permission, and that's not a semantic move. It's not a manipulative move. It's not a, you know, it's nothing other than a sign of respect. Hey, I would like to now conclude this part of the conversation where we're talking about the issue and what's important to you. And, we've confirmed that I got it, and I'm right there with you, and now, that you see that I am for you and understand what you're dealing with. Now I have a possible solution or some possible solutions to what we're dealing with, to what you're dealing with. Can I share those with you? And the answer is always yes if you've done the other steps, because how could it be anything else, right? And you share powerfully what you see, like powerfully, unreservedly. Remember, you're not there to close the deal. You're there to contribute and make a difference for them, right? So as a professional in your business, you probably have some real insights into what they're dealing with, and you share it powerfully. And if you have a solution, you create it powerfully, and you stand for it. Look, this is what you need. Yes, this is what it costs, and yes, this is what it takes, and yes, it's not what you wanted it to be, and I understand that, but this is what you need. Like you said you wanted this, right? Yes. You said you wanted that, right? Yes. Okay, good. This is how this is going to get here. This is the solution to get you where you want to be. And so, again, this is not pushy, because you're not pushing because you asked for permission to share after earning the permission, right? And you're presenting to the best of your ability the best possible solution you can come up with. So, that's the highest kind of inter exchange I could think of in that environment, right? So, and then if you have an offer to make the offer. Stand for it. Look, this is it. This is what it costs. This is how we get started. This is it. Let's do it, Or, if you do this, if you say yes, I will, here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's what you can expect to get. Here's what I'm going to produce. Here's what I promise. And they're now dealing with someone who they now think is really committed to them, because you are committed to them, and you're being thoughtful and professional and contemplative and sensitive, sensitive to what's happening in the conversation because of how you're listening, right? And now you're standing for the solution. Now, look, they're going to say yes or they're going to say no, but what your job is to have them actually evaluating the opportunity for the opportunity and not something to do with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to get into a struggle with someone if you have a solution for them. Let them come to it themselves. It's a nice, natural, organic process, as long as you're not trying to get them to do something they don't want to do. By the way, that's why people hate salespeople, because salespeople are always trying to get them to do something that they don't want to do, or they don't want to do yet, or whatever, right? And so just be the other person. Be the person that's really there for them. And then finally, you could explain why you want to do this now, why they want to do this now. Like, make your awesome offer even more delectable by giving them a reason to do it now, giving them a reason to do it today. Look, there's nothing wrong with that. You're making your offer. We're all in business, and it's easier and more efficient if we could wrap this up today, and I'm willing to pass that savings on to you. Don't want to do that? Totally get it. Here's my number. Call me whenever you want. Would you like me to follow up? I could, week, 2 weeks, never. You just tell me what works for you. By the way, I have some additional resources I'd like to send to you. You mind if I send you a few things, either through LinkedIn or email or text, whatever? Yeah? Okay, great. Awesome. And look, it's a dichotomy, So the interesting thing is, the more you have your attention on service and nothing but service, just take care of them to the best of your ability. My experience is what happens is they are now looking for and working out ways to do business with you. Like when I interact with people and I'm, conscious and doing my job and, being of service and practicing what I preach, the percentage of people who come back to me for something is really high, and I'm not embarrassed about that. I earn that. I earn it every day by, delivering on what I promise and, giving my clients the very best that I have, right? So if you're doing that, if you're giving them the very best that you have, and you're always looking to improve your service and improve the experience of your service, and upgrade your results for customers, then you're a great vendor for that person. So you can really stand for it. And the more you have your attention off of results, the easier the results come. It's weird. It's a dichotomy. The minute, however, you decide to, like if you were, for example, going to follow these 7 steps, and they're written right here, and I'm not sure where they are on my LinkedIn page, but they're close by this video. But if you were to decide to, I'm going to learn these 7 steps and memorize them and all that, it's not really going to work, because it's all about the context. It's all about the commitment to service. It's all about the background in which it all exists. So if you are being authentic with the intention of being smooth and getting deals done, it doesn't work. It's like people can tell. So you really have to constitute yourself as the real deal about being authentic, about service, and taking care of people, and yeah, like that. So last part is, sales is a dance. So it really can be a beautiful dance of contribution, people coming together, looking at problems together, coming up with solutions. Like, it really can be a source of pride for you, and a source of peace. So lots of people are in business, lots of people in sales find themselves in uncomfortable situations, or having conversations that they're not completely settled about. Like maybe they pushed a little too hard, or they bent the truth a little bit, or whatever, right? And you don't have to do that. You really don't have to do that. You be one of the very few people in the market, in any market, who's really wired up to take care of their customers. And it shows up in every way they are with people, everything they say, what they do and don't do. Like, it's just clear, it's through and through, it's authentic, it's completely congruent. And when you're one of those people and you're giving people the best you got, it just really, really, really works. So there you go. That was a little longer than I was expecting, which is, I should stop expecting that. So that's contribution selling. We are going to be rolling out coaching programs, workshops, a lot of fun stuff. I'm not going to talk about that on this video. I just wanted to really bring some distinction and some clarity and to contribution selling, and introduce it. And so I've got a document there. It's up for now. I'm not promising how long it'll be there. It's a PDF. You're welcome to use it. And if I can be of any service to you, let me know. Thank you very much.